Hey guys, this is a new what if I just really forgot to do. What if Yuno and Asta go back in time? But there's gonna be a slight little power up in this one for Yuno and Asta when they go back in time. So I'm gonna say after the whole defeat of the Dark Triad, actually not the defeat of the Dark Triad at all yet, but at the time they was training. Actually, they didn't even defeat the Dark Triad. They was training until Asta and come across something. Already had the spirit, and Asta already had the talk with Libe, so he will achieve his double union mode, and will have his full power of his spirit dive, spirit Bora. So, but when Asta and was there, they didn't understand what this writing means, but it said gives somebody with power, like so. Asta, didn't think about it, but they touched the thing. Once they did, something went into their bodies, like a new surge of power. For his mana went up, but for Asta, his anti-magic, going with a lot of power going in him, is increasing. But Asta has like when Asta and look at the hands, they notice something on their hand. There's like a star symbol on Asta's hand. And there's moons. Nah, shit. But what's the same thing as a star? Yeah, I'm just gonna give him a wind symbol. That he can control all of wind spirit powers. And Asta controlled the stars. Even with his anti-magic, that can confuse with it. It can combine with it. So Asta will be very, very OP, and so is because they're gonna be the same, like the power. But the whole thing, they don't know how to activate it. But when they went to go fight the Dark Triad, everything went very, very more differently in this timeline. Was able to get beat even in the Spirit of Bora form. And Asta got beat by the two devils. The two high-ranking devils. And they saw everything getting killed in front of them. Even the well-protected Asta, she will clear her love that she didn't have the last chance to say to him, but she said it in this way. Asta was shocked and crying because she's dying. I'm gonna say Mimosa. Actually, Charmy will have been in her buff like state. Buff like state. I mean, like, yeah, you heard like shit. What the fuck he called her? A dwarf. Like shit. Like she got another. Yeah, she grows up into adult. Until you know how she feels. Is extra sad at this point. And something after they Charmy and Noelle died. When also was about to die as well, they saw something that said, "Do you want a second chance to end save everybody and finish this whole fight?" And Asta and are confused, but they complied. They wanted to stop everything from happening. And very well. And it will give them the knowledge of the powers they have. And they would go set back in time. Like right before they even go to the magic entry step. Like you know that whole time skip when they train? Like when they train to go to the Zam? Asta was having one sword at the time, but he thinks he should get a katana because now he thinks if he puts in his book, because you know Asta was starting to talk about their powers and they don't know really how to utilize it actually, but they'll give us some time. And Asta actually thought about it because would actually remind Asta, didn't he have a katana in that sword in that book? And Asta would just pull out only the Demon Slayer, but now you think about it, if he can use anti-magic to fuse it with the if he uses anti-magic with other swords, what if Asta gets a katana from the very, very beginning instead of Yami's? And he can make slashes without his demon dweller yet. That's what he thought. So he asked to accompany him and actually get a sword for himself. Because I don't know why, I just love giving them swords. It's like, yeah, it's probably time to change my style. So when Asta and gets their swords, Asta for some reason gets a very, very black sword. And he said he'll dig with this one. And will get like a green sword, like a ninja sword, like Asta, like a katana. So Asta was gonna test this theory. He puts it in his book, and I forgot. Libe went back with him, and so is Bell. So Libe was actually gonna test it out as well, and actually confuse his anti-magic with it. And that actually worked, but something was different. And I finally figured out the name to it, the demon slash a katana. And I really know its abilities, but I won't tell. Watch the manga, y'all figure it out what it is. So Asta was taking the test swings, and he focused his anti-magic into the blade and started slashing. And like he expected, it's faster. But once he did that slash, something else happened. It's like like stars was behind it and fused with it. It turned yellow, and then it slashed. It cut 100 trees in one slash. And he said, "What did that?" And the thing that told him about their powers, looked and he said, And he focused all his wind powers into the sword and slashed it. Once he noticed something off, very off, his wind was turning into like bluish wind. And he slashed it, bro. It was more 100 trees was chopped down at the same as Austin's rate. And they said, damn. And Asta would start training, into the art of swords and go to even the sword master to train them in the art of swords, then, get more skills. Asta, learning through his titles of battles, has always been stronger. He does get, to do some workouts a little bit, but what are you gonna do? So now they use like their original forms. Asta can go in his black form, can go in his spirit die form. But when you hold the sword, it turns fully green. Asta's black. Just and to figure out how to fly on the sword, and yeah. So I'm gonna end it here. This is the part when they go back in time. Peace.